Today's topic for me is version control in Fabric. My name is Indira Bandari, and a little bit about myself before we dive deeper. I'm working as a data architect in Data Engine, and I have a master's degree in statistics, and I have been in the data space for the last 22 years, to be precise, and the passion to teach kids all about technology, which I've been doing for the past, I think, since 2016. And I think that is the reason maybe I must have been recognized for the Microsoft Data Platform MVP. And from this year, I think I need to update this slide as well. I'll be Microsoft AI MVP as well. And if you want to contact me, mostly I'll be available on my LinkedIn. It is Indira-Bandari. And that's my Twitter handle, and that's my blog. Link to the blog. Hopefully I'm audible. Sorry, my voice is like this, but yeah, can't help it. I've been sick for the last couple of days. Okay, let's look at the agenda today, what I'm going to cover. I'll cover the basics of what version control is before we start implementing the version control for a workspace, and also create and manage a Power BI desktop project, plan and implement deployment solutions, and also how we can perform impact analysis of downstream dependencies like from lakehouses, data warehouses, data flows. I think I'm just going to cover the pipeline or something like that. And also finally, I'll just give you a little brief about deploying and managing semantic models by using the XMLA endpoint. Quite a bit to cover, so let's go first. So the first section is implementing version control. Okay, so now, first thing is we need to start with Azure DevOps in Fabric. So best thing for us to do is search for Azure DevOps, and then you will be taken through to this link there where it says Azure DevOps Start Free and Start Free with GitHub. So let's go, and maybe I'll just exit the PowerPoint now, and then let's start with some demo. Okay, so here I have this screen where I can actually copy this link if you want to the chat. Okay, now let me just say start free. Hopefully this works. I'll be logged in as my work account. Oh, it will take a bit of a time. So it's going to dev.azure.com. So here, Indira Bandari is my organization. So the Azure DevOps, I have two organizations. For the demo purpose, I have created this Indira Bandari organization. And there is a project already called Indira Bandari. So now what we'll do is we'll create a new project within Azure DevOps, saying maybe, let's name it as Data Development 2024. This is for 2024. Demo. Okay. And you can go private and then just create the project. Okay, so once I create the project, mainly what is it? Azure DevOps, by the time it creates. Azure DevOps is a service on Azure that is primarily used for software development and also managing the infrastructure and DevOps lifecycle of the software development. It is also a place where we are going to store our code and the artifacts, the Power BI artifacts and the Power BI project files, and also the Microsoft Fabric items because they come with repositories. Now here, if we look at this project, so this is the organization, this is the project. And within the project, you can see boards. So within the boards, you have the work items, backlogs, and things like that. The boards are mainly used for, it's like a work management tool. So if you have a team of developers in your organization, you use these boards and add work items. Okay, Indira will be working on this work item. Some other person will be working on some other item. So I'm not going to delve deeper into this one. What we are interested today is the repos. So let's go into the repos. Repos is nothing but repositories, which are the core thing that we need for implementing version control. This is where we store our things in the cloud. So, for example, if you are developing a Power BI report locally, what we need to do is we need to store that report in the cloud in a repository. And that's where we will be controlling and tracking the changes to the Power BI file that we are managing. And also we can also manage who can make the changes to that repository. So little by little, when we start, so first step that we need to do is within this repos, once you click on repos, what you can do is you can initialize a README, initialize a main branch with a README. So I'm just clicking on initializing. And here the default README comes. So you can have an introduction. You can change all this. We won't worry about changing that in this particular session, but this is the README that we have. Now what we need to do is, sorry. Now you can see that this is the main branch. And what I want to do is I want to clone this. So I can clone this to, yeah, when I clone this, you have two options here, generate Git credentials. So you can clone this to either your GitHub desktop, which is installed on your machine, or you can clone in VS Code. So what I'll do is I'll just clone in VS Code. And then for that, we need to open Visual Studio Code because Visual Studio Code I have installed in my machine. So what happens is it's asking for where to store the repository. So it's going to store in a folder called Indira Bandari. So what I'll do is I will just change. We look at the folder. Yeah, I think I'll just keep the Indira Bandari as the repository destination, and then click on, or maybe I'll just add data to open, and then choose that as my repository destination. So now what will happen is it's cloning the repository. Would you like to open the cloned repository? It's asking. So I'm just opening the cloned repository. Okay, so now this is the repository and we have the README file. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this one in the Explorer, Windows Explorer. So it's in this one and and data report. Okay, so this is where my repository is living. And if you go here, you will have the README. Now, for example, if you want to just add a text file, I'm just going to add a text file, and then let's say data DB, and then I just open that and my text file. I'm just making some changes. Okay, so now I'll just save this one. See now, whatever changes I'm making in this folder, it's automatically getting reflected in the VS Code. This is the VS Code, and you can see that this is the one. Okay, but when we look at the Azure DevOps, can we see that file? We can't see that file, right? The reason is we have done the changes in the local, but we haven't published to the cloud. So how do we do that? So let's just go and let's say publish the file. So here you can see the main branch here in VS Code. So and here synchronize changes is the thing that you can see. So I'll just synchronize changes. This action will pull and push commits from and to origin main. So that's what it will do. So you just publish your changes, and periodically run it. Ask me later. I'll just close that. And now when we go to, then when we refresh, it should have the changes. Changes. So the sync complete. Okay, so now we need to commit the changes. First of all, before we synchronize, we need to commit the changes. So for that, you need to go to source control. And here you can see that there is one pending change. Okay, so now added a text file. You can just add any comment here. I just added a text file and I'll say commit. And then would you like to stage all your changes and commit them directly? So what I'll do is I'll just commit the changes and then sync changes. So added text file. Now when I sync changes, see here it is syncing. Okay, now when we go into this one and then refresh it, see now you can see the data TV text file. Now Azure DevOps is good for making these text format changes. It's easy. So now we have just uploaded it without any approval. What if you want to add approvals? So what we need to do is we need to create some policies. So for that, I think we need to go to I think it's repos. Okay, let's go to repos, and there should be settings somewhere. Yeah, here, project settings. Then go to settings, and then you have these policies. So what I will do is add the reviewer as the policy. Just repositories. Yeah, go to repositories and then go to settings, and you can see the settings, and then you can go into policies. And here, what I want to do is I want to, or is it in settings? So I forgot where it is. To manage permissions for their create branches. I forgot where I need to. The policy, security. I think it should be in the policy. We talk the review. Policies. Okay. Okay, so here in the branch policies, what we need to do is we need to add, and here I am going to protect the default branch. What is our default branch? Default branch is the main branch. So by adding this policy, what I'm trying to do is I am trying to protect anybody to change the main branch directly. So I'm just going to create, and here I will add reviewers. So I'm just going to add automatically include reviewers. So I'm just going to add myself as the reviewer here. It's slow. Yeah. Okay. I'm adding myself as the reviewer, and then I'm saving it. So what now what we have done is we have added a policy. Now what happens is if we try to make any change, so if I go to VS Code, or maybe I'll just go into this one, this particular same text file, and then I'm saying it added policy. Let's test this. So that is the change I made, and then I'm saving it. Okay, so now let's go into the so here it says modified, and then when we go to source control, let's try and commit it. So when we do that, should it allow or not? Should it not allow? Anyone can answer. Why? Okay, no one is answering because I have added the policy, and this is the main branch that I'm trying to synchronize to, commit to. It should give us an error. So if I say yes, and then once I'm trying to commit the change, because it's main, it should give an error. So see, this is the error it is giving. Can't push refs to remote. Try running pull first to integrate your changes. Okay, so now we have protected the main branch. Now let's see what is going to happen. So now you understand why we need to protect the main branch. So in order to make changes, we need to create a branch, because once we create a branch, then we can commit to the branch, and then you can merge. And for that, what we need to do is we need to do a pull request. So for example, first step is to create a branch. So if I click here in the main, there will be a create new branch. So I'm just going to create a new branch saying text file modifications, mods. Okay. And that's the branch I have created. Now you can see that this is the branch. Now what I'll do is I'll commit to this branch, and then I'm publishing it. Now you can so I think it's committed. Now what we'll do is if I go into the Azure DevOps and go to repos, okay, that's the project, and we go to repos. See, now here it is saying that now you have modified this branch and you need to create a pull request. And what is a pull request? When you create a pull request, it will allow you to review the changes that you have made in that branch and then publish it to the main branch. So I'm going to create a pull request. Then I'll just keep it saying that please review. And then add the reviewer as me, because I don't have anyone in the organization for me to review. But in real scenario, what you will be having is you will be having your colleagues or your seniors who will be reviewing the code, and then you can create the pull request. You can create, or you can create as a draft. At the moment, I'm just going to create. Okay, once I create, because I am the approver, it's just showing me what the approver is. And then it's just showing me the approve button. But I want to know what the changes are. So I'll just go into files And then, so this is the changes that we are looking at. Okay, change looks good. So now what we can do is we can just approve or approve with suggestions, wait for author. If you want to comment, so what you can do is you can say wait for author, and then, or you can reject the changes. So then what I'm just going to approve. And once I say approve, you can complete the pull request. You can either complete the pull request or mark as a draft or abandon the pull request. So I'm just going to complete it. When I say complete, you have post complete options. These are the three. For now, I'm just going to go complete associated work items after merging. So what this does is we have created the branch, the text file mods branch. So it has created, and then we have made all the changes. This has been reviewed. Now it will go and merge into the main branch. So now we can say complete merge. And then if we go to the main, we should be able to see this. See, we should be able to see the changes in the main branch. So this is the main branch. You can see that. Okay, now till now we have seen text file, right? So any text-based format files. So it could be JSON, it could be Python, it could be Python notebooks, or any other text-based files can be done easily like this. But if we want to do Power BI files, Microsoft has come up with the concept of Power BI projects. So how do we create Power BI project file? Power BI project file is with an extension PBIP. The Power BI file extension is PBIX, and then we need to create a file called file with an extension called PBIP. So let's do that. So I have this Power BI file here, and what I will do is I will just save this. So for example, I'm just district monthly sales. Yeah, I am here. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll just go file and save as, and I am going to choose this folder because that is my source folder, the repository folder. And then I will change the file type from PBIX to PBIP. Then save this. So now before I save, I will just have a look at this folder. Okay, so this folder at the moment doesn't have any Power BI project files or anything like that. So now you notice if I say save, file exists. Okay, yeah, you can override. I didn't see that, but anyway. Okay, save this. Hopefully it is saving it to the right folder. Looks like it is not. Okay. I think it must have saved in the must have saved in here. Let's see. Okay. 24. Okay, so here is where it is. This is not. Oh, I saved it in a different location. So okay, let me again open this because this is a okay. I'll again save this as this is not the file location. I need to look at browse this device, and I need to look at C. Users. And then okay, so here is where we want to save the Power BI project file. So once I save that, now if we look at that folder, okay, see these are the, what it has done is it has created a text-based files from the Power BI desktop file. So what it has done is it has created a git ignore file, and then there are two folders. One is semantic model, where there is a JSON source file, and then there is a .platform file, and then .pbi file. Here also, those are all JSON files, which are mostly text-based files. And you have the other folder called pbix.report file, where you have the report definition in the report JSON file, and also other static resources and other .pbi files where the local settings are there. Okay. Now we have gone this far. Now let's see whether these changes are reflected here. See, you can see all the changes, and it is identifying 11 changes. Okay. Now this is only in the local. Now if we want to see those changes here in the main, first what we need to do is we need to create a pull request, isn't it? So because we can't change in main. So first of all, we have made the change, but we need to commit, right? So now what we can do is added PIP files and then commit. And I'm committing it to the branch that I have created. Yeah, okay. So would you like to stage? Yes. And then sync changes? Yes. And then this action will pull and push commits from into that branch. Remember that we are not making any direct changes to the main branch, so it should not error. So let's see. It looks like it has made the changes. Now, if we look at this one, and if we look at the branch here, see there is a branch that we have created. So if we look at that one, see you can see that you updated text file mods just now, this branch just now. Do you want to create a pull request? Again, follow the same process, and you can see the changes here, and you can create a pull request. Again, add, because you need to add reviewers. So I'm just adding myself as the reviewer here. And then create the pull request. Once we create the pull request, I can approve because I'm the one who is approving. And then I can complete again, merge the branch, complete associated work items. So here, what I'm doing is there are other options here. If I say delete text file mods after merging, what it does is it's going to delete this branch, and there will be only one main branch. But I don't want to do that at this stage. So I'm just going to not tick that. And then we are merging that same thing. So I'm just going to complete the merge. And once we complete the merge, what will happen is if you go to the repos, and this is text file mods branch. Now, if we go to the main branch, you are seeing all the changes. So now what will happen is if you, for example, make a change to this particular project. So for example, let's say district monthly sales. Oh, it's already sales is there. Let's remove that district monthly sales, or let's say district sales. And then I'll save this Power BI project file. See here, you can see the Power BI project file. I made this change in the local. So this should appear here in the, see here, it is recognizing that in the report.json, it is recognizing that there is a modification that is available. So do you want to make changes, commit those changes? Yes, I want to. So modify PB IP, and then I'm just committing. And then do you like to stage? Yes. And then sync the changes. So it's again going to sync the changes in the branch, and then the process goes on. So this is how you can track the changes for Power BI files. Now, this session, I think I remember, this session is version control in Fabric, right? But we haven't covered any Fabric things yet. So let's try and do what those are. Okay, now what we'll do is I'll just go through the, okay, let's check the, this one first because we sync the changes. So here again, you will get a pull request. Let me complete the pull request, add the reviewer, then create. Once you get used to, you will be used to the process. I think you will be far more convenient, confident. So you can go there and then you can complete the merge. Okay. Now we have, okay, if I go to repos, you will have the changes. Okay. Now, let's just look at the look at the PowerPoint and then see what kind of notes I have made. Okay. So here we have track changes to the files, right? Text files. So what did we do? Create an Azure DevOps project and added a README file to initialize the main branch and copy the Git URL and cloned it using VS Code, and then open the Git repo locally and then created a new file in the repo. Repo means this one, the Windows Explorer, and then modified the file, committed the changes and push to the origin and observe the changes in Azure DevOps. So that is the track that we have done. And what we also did was we saw how to control over who can make changes to the main branch. Okay, the way we have done it, we have protected the main branch and added a reviewer into the repo by adding the policy. Okay, and try committing a new change to the main branch, which got rejected. We saw that. And then we created a new branch in VS Code and then published that change to that new branch and then added a pull request and then approved the change because of the review process and then merge the branch into the main branch. That is the summary of what we have done so far. And we have used one text file and then we have also used Power BI project file. Okay, now, okay, we have already done that. Now, where does Fabric fit into all this? So now, let's go. Fabric works on workspaces, right? So let's go to, okay, so this is, I will deal with this later. So now, what we will do is we will go to Fabric. So how do we go to Fabric? Any idea? I'll go to Power BI and then it will automatically take us through Fabric, right? So here, this is the Fabric, Power BI service. And here I have a lot of workspaces. If we go to workspace, whichever has diamond is the Fabric workspace. So for example, let's go dev. Okay. So now here, what is going to happen is we need to assign the file, the workspace, to the Azure DevOps repository. Okay, so that can happen only through workspace settings, and only the Fabric administrator, workspace administrator, can do that. And how can we do that? Here you have the workspace settings, and here you have Git integration. And this is where Git provider is Azure DevOps and AAD account is my account. And here I can choose the organization. So I will choose the organization as that, where my project is, and I'm going to choose the project as data token. And then the Git repository is also that. And then in the branch, I can choose either main or xmods. I'll choose main. And then I will just say connect and sync. Sometimes what happens is we will have problems with sync because there is some kind of geographical issues. So at that stage, what you need to do is going to show what you need to do. So just go into Power BI admin settings. So that will be from here. And you need to be a Fabric administrator or Power BI administrator. So go to admin portal, and in the tenant settings, there is an area for Git. I think it's way down. Yeah, see here. You need to make sure that this is enabled for security groups, not entire organization. For demo purpose, I just enabled for the entire organization, but you can enable for only specific security groups. Okay. So unless you do this, sometimes if the repository and fabric workspace are if they are in different geographical zones, then they will they might be an issue. Now, because I have set the workspace settings to that Azure repository, so our fabric items are actually synced. So it has created the fabric items, which was the semantic model and the report, and it shows that both of them are synced. So now, and also here, the source control shows there are no changes in the source control. Now, what we'll do is, let's say we have seen that this is synced. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are just going to maybe, let's say, add something here. Say I want to add a pipeline or something, whatever, okay, data pipeline. Okay. Just say pipeline or something, and then I just add it. And once you add that, you can see that in the source control, it automatically recognizes that the source control. If we go to the workspace, which workspace did we use? Okay, if I go to the workspace, see here, pipeline demo. Why is it appearing as sync? Yeah, okay. Now it is saying that this is uncommitted. And then here, source control, it says that loading your source control. Here, the current branch is main. So let's try and see. Should it allow us to make modifications to the main branch? I don't think so, but let's see whether it's going to throw an error. Because of the reviewer policy, we should get an error. So committing to this branch is forbidden due to the branch policy. So now what we can do is we can check out this one and then upload the changes. And then check out options. Yeah, so you get the idea, right? So if I go here, let's hopefully change. No, it's not changing. There should be a checkout option. I think yeah, here current branch. So you can branch out to new check out new branch, and then you can give the name as pipeline branch or something. And then you can check out the branch, and then now for this branch, you can go back again. Now the current branch is pipeline. Now you can commit this. Then you will have the pipeline demo. So that is how you can have all the fabric items. So you need to link your fabric workspace to Azure DevOps, and then you will be able to add all the track changes to all the fabric items. So now coming back to the, I think 1140. Okay. Coming back to the fabric items that are currently supported, they're currently supported is data pipelines, lakehouse, notebooks, paginated reports, and all reports except the analysis services, Azure Analysis Services and SQL Server Analysis Services connected reports, and also semantic models. I think even semantic models, all semantic models are not, there are some exceptions. Okay. So now that covers the fabric part of it. Now let's quickly look at what is deployment. And for all those who are familiar with Power BI reports who have been doing Power BI reports, the word deployment is might be a bit new for you, new term for you, because deployment is mostly used in the software development. Okay, so when you say deployment, you might have your development environment, your test environment, or end production environment. Mostly, most of the time, you will have 3 environments. Sometimes you can have UAT environment as well. So it will be 4 environments. So here, okay, so you have development, test, and prod environments. And Microsoft has something called deployment pipelines. And these deployment pipelines are enabled with premium capacity, as you all must know. So that means when you have Fabric 64 capacity, only then you can do the deployment pipelines. So let's go back here and then try and just go use the deployment pipelines. So here when you are in the workspace, you can go view deployment pipeline, which is dev and test only. Now, I have workspaces called dev, prod, and test. Notice that only dev is Fabric workspace, but these two are not Fabric workspace. Okay. So when you are adding a deployment pipeline, you can add a deployment pipeline from here. So I'm going to go to deployment pipelines, and here is a pipeline that I already have. Otherwise, if you just go into new pipeline, you can just give a name, data program demo. And what you need to do is you can just go here, and then it proposes the environments names. If you want, you can change that as dev, test, and production. I'll keep it as it is. And also you can add another environment by clicking on add. And then if you go create, then you will have development, test, and prod environments. And here you need to assign workspaces. Now, because these workspaces are not Fabric, I cannot assign them. And this dev workspace has already been assigned to another deployment pipeline. So let's go to, again, deployment pipelines. And then let's look at this one. So here, randomly, I have allocated the workspaces. There is a dev workspace, there is a DID class workspace, and there is a Fabric workspace. These 3 are not following, definitely not following the deployment, what do you call it? When you develop in dev, you just publish it here. And then once you publish it, you will see the changes, which you can choose the changes to be deployed. So these are the changes that it is showing, that there is no pipeline demo in these are not there in test. So you can just go pipeline demo, one selected, and then you can go deploy, and it will go and deploy to you can add a note, and then you can go and deploy to the test workspace. So now the pipeline demo will be deployed to the test workspace, and the testers will do the testing, and then from there you can go and deploy into production. So that is in summary about the deployment pipelines. So let's go through, I think we are time up. So let's just go through quickly. So deployment pipeline summary is add layers of control when developing and deploying new Fabric items. And also by using deployment pipelines, you ensure that new things you develop are not going to break your existing analytics solutions. And also deployment is done using deployment pipelines if you have Premium or F64. And deployment rules can be implemented to change things like default lakehouse, etc. So that's the summary. And here, deploying semantic models using XMLA endpoints, there are 2 ways to create and manage semantic models. One is create and manage your semantic model in the workspace, which we have already seen. And the other one is create and manage your semantic model with a third-party tool, like maybe SQL Profiler or Tabular Editor, and then you can deploy the semantic model through XMLA endpoint. And how do we get this XMLA endpoint is from the workspace settings. So here there is in the general tab, there is a connection link, and this you copy and then use it as an XMLA endpoint. And I said we will cover impact analysis as well. Okay, let's slowly go here. So for example, if I go into workspace, And let's go dev. And here, let's go to the repo, the report. And then if you go view lineage, you will see all the lineage, right? So here, you can, from here, from each of these cards, you can go and show impact across workspaces. So if you go here, so one impacted child items. So you can do impact analysis by child items and all downstream items. And also you can browse by item type and also browse by workspace. You can go workspace and also items. So what are the items? Report one. And then you can notify contacts as well from here. What are the implications? Okay. So that's very quickly impact analysis. And then now a recap of what we have gone through. Implemented version control for a workspace, create and manage Power BI desktop project, plan and implement deployment solutions, perform impact analysis, and also deploy and manage semantic models by using the XMLA endpoint. So thank you for listening to me. Might have gone a couple of minutes over, but yeah, that's me. Thank you very much.